Good morning. Welcome to Energy Works. Today we're talking about showing up for yourself. And I'm probably being a little selfish because I think that's one of the things that I struggle with. So I don't know if that's what you struggle with as well. So we're wanting to clear some energy around this so we feel like we can be better to ourselves. So, what is it that you feel that you need to clear energy around? Is it your health? Is it around your ability to eat better? Is it around your ability to exercise? Is it around your ability to do the spiritual things that you need to do to keep your spirit in good shape? Is it your ability to chill out or take time out for yourself? What is it that you are struggling to do? All right, let's go. Throat chakra. All right, so intention comes up in our throat chakra. What is your intention? All right, so feeling shut down and keeping in what we really need to express. All right, what are you needing to express? And using busyness as a way of avoiding the truth. All right, I no longer fear rejection when I speak honestly. All right, I substitute joy, love, and peace for old habits of addiction and abuse. All right, so we're talking about showing up for yourself. And I guess for those that are on, you've showed up this morning, go you. What other things do you think you need to show up for yourself in? We did mention some things earlier, is it our health or our happiness or our rest or our food or our exercise or our spirituality? What is it that we're struggling to show up for? And we're going to jump up into the crown chakra now. And what shows up is our central nervous system. All right, seeing yourself as separate. Okay, so Catherine said, too embarrassed to say. All right, well, you can private message me. All right, and also what's coming up here is confused sexual expression. And there can be many false beliefs and old beliefs around sexuality and about how we feel about expressing ourselves in that way with our partner. Sometimes we can feel not good enough or, not trim enough or not muscly enough or not whatever enough we've got going on in our head. All right, so an oil that comes up now is helichrysum. And I like this Kim's book. Helichrysum's around pain. All right, so my ability to persevere through these physical difficulties enables my spirit to progress to higher levels of consciousness. All right, even in my most discouraged state, I see the opportunity for my rebirth. And I think sometimes as we get older, we tend to write ourselves off, but I really disagree with that. I think there's the opportunity to rewrite rather than give up. And I think your body keeps trying to repair until you die. So it's like if we can help ourselves to try and repair and recover and take care of ourselves, our cells can regenerate. And, providing we supply the nutrients for the body to regenerate and we, detoxify ourselves and we nurture all aspects of ourselves, there is always room for repair. I used to work when I was first a chiropractor with a naturopath called Kath Aiken, and she used to talk about how every 7 years your body has replaced every cell. So if you think about a 7-year project in which you're going to, put the effort into your nutrition and the effort into your sleep and the effort into your exercise and your spirituality, you're connecting to nature, then in 7 years you can have a different body. So, we don't see it as a 5-minute project, see it as a long-term project. You can use helichrysum on your feet, or you could use helichrysum on parts of your body that you feel pain with, where you actually have pain. Or, if you're feeling pain in your heart from difficulties, I put it over my heart. And, if you're having difficulty with your eyes, I wouldn't put it on my eyes. I'd put it like maybe in a circle around my eyes, or, if it's around your ears that you're having trouble with, or your throat. All those parts, we can help. All right, so another oil that I don't have is Galbanum, so I don't know much about that one. So, maybe we can look at what that's about. Apparently it's in the Ancient Oils collection of doTERRA. All right, so we're going back to the throat chakra again. So I'm going to use Jenny Rosengren's book here. All right, my throat and vocal cords are opening and smoothing. I'm consciously allowing life to flow easily. So sometimes we just get stuck with where we're at or what we feel about ourselves, or believing, it's too late, give up, just wait to die. But I totally disagree with that. I think, and this is a silly example, but when I remember when I was pregnant with my first baby, I decided I would swim. In the beginning, I could swim 4 laps and I was done. By the end, very pregnant, I could swim 26 laps. I couldn't do it now, I'd die. But I think it shows that, no matter what state we're in, that we can have improvement. We might have to do things slowly or carefully, or we may not be able to do it how we used to do it, but maybe we need to reinvent ourselves and do it differently. Maybe we need to create new brain parts, learn a musical instrument, take up singing, do Zumba, do something that you love or you've always wanted to do. And even if you just start very slowly and gently to the capacity that you can do it, and if you can only do it for 1 minute, start with 1 minute. In a few months you might be able to do 5 minutes. Just start. All right, so let's go to the base chakra. So this is where we, often we can get stuck here because we don't feel like we belong or we fit in or that we're safe. And even our anus is showing up. So sometimes we can be hanging on to things so badly that our bowel doesn't go too well, or that we can get hemorrhoids or other problems because of it, or we can just have an itchy bottom. All of those things can be emotional as well. All right, bone disorders are coming up. Do you have a bit of arthritis? Also, poor boundaries. So what are things that we need to say no to? All right, and the ylang-ylang oil, just look up. This is feelings buried alive. All right, so this is under anus. How interesting. Survival is threatened by outer conditions or feeling powerless in some area. So feeling powerless is what comes up. All right, so that's me, says Catherine. Osteoarthritis in my spine. Yeah. So years ago I used to have a lot of trouble with a particular joint in my hand. And, of course, I'm a chiropractor. I have to use my hands every day. And it was so bad that if I had to adjust someone's neck, I had to leave the sore joint out and try and adjust like that. So when I learned about sugar handling and about inflammation through that, I totally quit sugar. My hands stopped hurting. So even though you might still have some damage there, we can reduce the pain by how we eat. So, reducing refined carbohydrates, even for some people we need to eat higher fat, like good fats. So for some people that translates as, avocado or, seeds like pumpkin seeds or linseed or chia seeds, sunflower seeds. All those seeds are omega-3, and omega-3 helps reduce inflammation. So you could take fish oil, or there are even specific forms of fish oil. There's one called SPM Active, which is particularly for pain and inflammation. And there's a product called PEA, which I can't remember the whole words, but it's also a product that you can take by mouth to help inflammation and pain as well. They use it even for people that have cancer. All right. So let's say, why am I so powerful? So age 17 comes up. So what happened when you were 17 that made you feel powerless? What was the issue? All right, now we're going to jump into the brow chakra again. All right, so what comes up here is understanding. So I guess initially we can feel a little bit victim-y because we feel that we have no power in our life, or, that we're just hapless victims of wherever we get pain or disease or problems. But if we were to understand that we actually have a lot more control about our lives, we could reuse that control feeling that we have a little better, and we could channel that control into positive development. And I guess understanding is about what is my body telling me when I'm in pain or I have an area that's, has a dis-ease, as they call it. What is my body saying to me? Now, Catherine's mentioned she had to leave home at 17. That's a pretty traumatic experience, isn't it, if you're not ready? All right, also the pituitary gland comes up. So the pituitary gland is like the two I see from the hypothalamus, and it's helping to control all our glandular system. And what else is coming up is overwhelm. So what is overwhelming you at the moment? All right, and mood being attached to the outcome of events. And I know I can fall in that hole regularly, especially with my kids. If they're not doing the things that I feel that they should be doing or in the way that I think they should be doing it, then I can fall in that hole. But realistically, I had to learn things my own way, and even though my parents may not have agreed with everything that I did, I had to do what I feel was right for me. And I guess we have to give our children the same opportunity. All right, so eye conditions are coming up here. Neurological conditions. So chamomile, German chamomile is coming up. I only have Roman chamomile, but I'm sure chamomile would be helpful, whatever you used. St. John's wort is also coming up as well. All right, I easily connect to my spirit. And I was working on someone yesterday and it came up that I'm going more from my heart rather than my head. She's like, oh, shouldn't it be balanced? And we were talking about how often our ego is what we think is our head talking to us. And our ego doesn't want us to follow our heart, because when we follow our heart, we don't use our ego. And the ego's out of a job, so then it panics and kicks up the dirt. So it's important for us to go back to our heart. And really that's in a way following our spirit, because our spirit speaks through our heart and we listen to the messages via our heart. All right, so I choose to replace fear with faith. My brain organizes and repairs itself each night while I sleep. All right, my vision is illuminated by gratitude and love. So I guess trying to train ourselves to fall back into gratitude. It's the whole adage of, is the glass half full, is the glass half empty? I can tend to fall into it's empty rather than it's half full. So, looking at the things that we are grateful for, the things in our lives that have worked, the things that we know about ourselves that are good. All right, so now we're going into our aura. So layers of the aura. Third layer. Each layer kind of relates to the chakras. So the third layer is the mental body, which is about our thoughts and our ideas. All right, so sometimes we can be leaking energy because our energy field has been disturbed and it's not whole. Sometimes we can react to emotions. All right, feeling betrayal. And so we can feel being betrayal as an attack on us. So Roz has mentioned that's how she feels sometimes. And the other thing we can feel is stupid. And sometimes we can feel that when we feel people have taken advantage of us, or if we didn't see someone else's motive and we, assumed that they were kind and loving like we were, we can feel a bit silly. All right, and that's also got a generational component from dad's side and the men. All right, jumping back into the base chakra again. It's funny when you learn to clear energy, we have it all set out in a matrix of, body, mind, and energy. And, logically, you just like to clear everything in each chart. But unfortunately, energy doesn't work like that. It's like you have to go, well, this is connected to that, and you have to work on that, and then you go clear this bit, and then you have to look at that, and then that might take you back somewhere else. So it can be a little challenging when you learn energy to trust the process. All right, so safety is coming up. Insecurity, foot and leg pains and injuries, difficulty focusing and following through. So what do you know you should be doing that you're struggling to do? All right, I remain grounded at all times. Sometimes we just need to go and put our feet on the grass. Or if it's snowing, hold your pot plant. All right, I easily start and complete all my endeavours. So it feels like there's a theme of not following on and not carrying on with what we start. All right, my family or tribe has my back. All right, so sometimes our immediate family may not have our back, or they may, and we might feel that we're alone. But I think if we really examine, we'll find that other people are there to help us and support us, and we may forget that we have support from other people. All right, so now we're going to work on our grid. So our base grid kind of is the structure in which all our chakras sit. And sometimes we can have a shocking experience and the grid can be split or damaged. And so we're just going to test ages for that. Age 7, age 27, 63. All right, reactions to feelings. So some feelings can be damaging us if we're not processing them. So feeling restricted in life or in breathing. So what part of your life feels a little restricted? So if we say I'm free, that doesn't hold. Generational stuff again, dad's side of the family and the women. All right, now we're talking a bit more about our aura again. So vibrations. So low vibration is like guilt, shame, anger. And high vibration is like peace and love and contentment and joy. So sometimes we can be stuck in a very low vibration. And you know that when you're not feeling happy or good or comfortable with who you are. All right, so being stuck in guilt. When one is stuck in this level, feelings of worthlessness and an inability to forgive oneself are common. So what do you need to forgive yourself for? And this is from David Hawkins. He made a scale of consciousness, human consciousness. All right, that getting rid of that guilt, that's jumped us up to 220, which is much better than 30. All right, so this is what David Hawkins said. He said, this is the level of empowerment. It's the first level where you're not taking life energy from those around you. Courage is where you see that you don't need to be tossed to and fro by your external conditions. This empowerment leads you to the realization that you are a steward unto yourself and that you alone are in charge of your growth and success. This is what makes you inherently human, the realization that there is a gap between stimulus and response and that you have the potential to choose how you respond. And sometimes we forget that. We just fall into the hole and sometimes once you fall in the hole, it's hard to get out of the hole. All right, so now we've jumped up to about 330. All right, so this is the stage where you begin to develop self-discipline and willpower and learn the importance of sticking to a task till the end. So there seems to be a theme today about, getting started and then sticking to it. Yes, there's going to be ups and downs, and even if you just do baby steps, just keep trying to move forward. All right, we're jumping up again now to about 530. So this is where you start applying what was learned in your reasoning and you let your heart take over rather than your mind. You live by intuition. This is the level of charity, a selfless love that has no desire except for the welfare of those around them. Gandhi and Mother Teresa are examples of people who are living at this level. Only 0.4% of the world will ever reach it. So, we can get to that point of love and being able to love other people too, as well as ourselves. All right, cranial bones at the back of the head. So we're just going to plug in an adjustment. All right, and we're going to go back into the sixth chakra, which of course is that area of our cranium. I am releasing DNA patterns that block my reasoning ability. And I think it's really important to understand that you are releasing DNA patterns. I have unlimited possibilities, and I totally agree with that. I'm connected to my future. Let's say my future is promising. I was reading a little article talking about Colonel Sanders, the man that invented Kentucky Fried Chicken. Apparently he had a very difficult life. He wasn't highly successful in relationships or work or anything. And when he retired, he got a small amount of money, I think, and he decided he would make chicken and from a recipe of his grandmother and sell it locally. And, of course, the rest is history. So he was totally unsuccessful all the time till he retired to about 65. And by 88, he was a billionaire. So never too late, never too late. And he can do it, even though he felt much of his life he was a failure, he still became a success. And that's in talking of worldly success, but sometimes we just need to be a success in terms of who we feel we are and of how we live our life and the integrity in which we live our life. All right, so if we ask if there's something preventing us from showing up for ourselves, there's a generational pattern here. Dad's side, Dad's mum's side, and the men. All right, anger stuck in our genes. We can be angry about what hasn't turned out how we want it to be, or we can let that go and we can decide that we're going to invest more in the future rather than being stuck, buried deep into the past. All right, anger and feeling offended is what's stuck in our genes. And so if we're feeling offended, we can get so much into the hurt that we forget to live. So if we ask where else in your body is the energy stuck and what other parts of your life do you need to show up for yourself in? What's the one thing that you're going to work on this week in showing up for yourself? I want you to choose one thing and start working on that one thing. All right, also what's coming up from our genes here is feeling exploited. So I'm going to look up the opposite of exploited. Forgiving, appreciated, valued, and respected. Respected is weak. And we should start with I respect myself. Sexuality is coming up the second time. And what else is coming up is unwillingness to forgive oneself. And, of course, if we look at it that every mistake we made is the opportunity to learn to do things better, we can have a bit more kindness to ourselves. So not feeling respected or valued has a generational component from dad's side of the family and the men. All right, my relationships bring me pleasure. And sometimes they do. Sometimes there's difficulty or tricky times, but often we can have fun and joy in our relationships as well. I'm entitled to happiness, joy, and light in my life always. We work together for my highest good. So that's talking about I'm aligned with God's plan for me, and God and I work together. And we could say Heavenly Father and Heavenly Mother. And if you think about it, we're all family. So we're all here to support each other on that journey. All right, I have the power to choose my reaction to any situation. I allow others respect and space to be who they really are. So maybe we're getting stuck on criticising others, and that is because we are stuck on criticising ourselves. So I'm going to challenge you this week to look for the things that you're grateful for, look for the things that you love about yourself, look at one thing that you're going to change to help you show up for yourself better. And even if that's a schedule, or even if it's exercising with a friend, or even if it's doing a meal plan, whatever it is that you need to do to show up for yourself, let's do it. All right, I'm able to enjoy all my emotions and give them room for expression. If you think about a painting, sometimes we have our favourite colours that we like to see, and we might not like the browns or the beiges or the other, yucky colours. But we need those for contrast, and it's the same in our life. We need to have all sorts of feelings to have contrast. If we only felt flat and happy all the time, we would be bored with that. So it's like we need the ups and the downs to feel movement in life, because the lack of movement means we're stuck. So we need to move our bodies, we need to move our minds, we need to move our spirit. All right, so now we're going into our third chakra. All right, what's coming up in the third chakra is embarrassment. And often if we have incidents in our life that were embarrassing or difficult, we feel like we can't even think about it or talk about it or feel the experience without feeling shame or guilt or embarrassment. So it's like that we need to process those events, because once we process them, we can look at them with kindness and we don't feel so awful about them. So stomach meridian and stomach itself. All right, thinking that change is unsafe. I digest my life. I digest my mistakes. I digest my pride. Petitgrain oil comes up here, which is another one of the generational oils. All right, Petitgrain is a great aid in healing a complicated family history. So we are all here to heal our family tree, and even the difficult things, we're here to make a difference. It invites individuals to accept the humanness of their ancestors and seek to learn from their mistakes. So instead of avoiding the pain of the past, Petitgrain encourages thoughtful awareness of how to heal wounds in the family line. It reveals patterns and tendencies of unconsciously repeating family mistakes. Individuals in need of Petitgrain may be unable or unwilling to depart from their family's ways of thinking. Instead, they follow in the footsteps of their predecessors and ancestral traditions. Or they feel too bound to a family story they wish to disown and desire to disconnect from the reality of the previous generations. For either extreme, Petitgrain invites healthy awareness and balance. It encourages those who view any departure from tradition as a betrayal of the family to release the fear of disapproval and forge the path that is right for them. It also reminds those who desire to disconnect from their family origins to be willing to see the positives of a healthy family connection. So Petitgrain invites all to see the gift of their ancestral traditions and will assist them in their efforts to heal unfinished and unresolved ancestral issues. So often some people can be angry that they have ancestral stuff and feel angry with their ancestors. It's like, you've given me this rubbish. But I see it the other way. It's like our ancestors want to help us be free. And so it's like, as a family, we're going to work on these things together. All right, and another oil that comes up here that could be useful is bergamot, and it's the oil of self-acceptance. All right, I'm hopeful, encouraged, and confident. I release the faulty core of being bad, unlovable, and not good enough. I love myself as my Creator loves me, warts and all. I flow with life, resting assured in the wisdom of life. My best is good enough. I know I can do it. So I think they are wonderful affirmations that you might want to use this week as you're starting to show up for yourself. So we send the energy that we've cleared to everyone who needs it today, whoever we were thinking of, such as Luzanne's mum. You feel free to share these podcasts with anyone. It's my free offering. Thank you, Roz. She said thanks for all you do, and Luzanne said thank you, and Catherine, thank you very much. If you need more help, ask. Make a clarity call or book in at A1 Health and have either a phone session or an in-person session to shift some energy. All right. Hope you have a wonderful day, and please show up for yourself. Bye.